students. In the last lecture, we have seen the definition of multigraph or multiple graph, and before that, we have seen simple graph. Okay, so what we have done in the previous lecture, matrix representation of a graph, then types of graph. In types of graph, we have seen the definition of simple graph. What is simple graph? Is a graph without loop and multiple edges. Okay, multiple edges, or you can say parallel edges, is called simple graph. And what is multigraph or multiple graph? A graph with parallel edges but not loop is called a multigraph. Okay. Now, once you read these two definitions, then definitely there is one question in your mind. Now look at the definition 2. What is multigraph or multiple graph? A graph with parallel edges but not loop is called as multigraph. So in your mind there is one question. What happens if a graph is having both parallel edges and loop? What is the name of that graph? Okay, so there is a third type of graph which is called as a compound graph or pseudograph. Okay, so next definition of the graph is compound graph or pseudograph. So that is the third one, compound graph. It is also known as pseudograph. How it is defined? A graph which contain loops or parallel edges. Okay, a graph which contains loops or parallel edges. Loops or parallel edges is called as compound graph. Is called compound graph. Or you can say pseudograph. Okay. So this is what compound graph is. Next is we have one concept related to even and odd degree. Okay. So these are the three types of graph. Then we have the concept of even degree and odd degree. Now you know that definition of degree of vertices. If V is any vertex of a graph G, then how is degree of V is defined? It is defined as the number of edges incident on it. That is what degree of the vertices. So again, this will further classify into two types of degree, even or two types of vertices in a graph, even vertices and odd vertices. So a vertex A vertex of a graph is called odd or even. A vertex of a graph is called odd or even. Okay, a vertex of a graph is called odd or even depending on whether its degree is odd or even. Depending on whether its degree is odd or even. Okay, so if you want to check whether which vertex of a graph is even vertex and which vertex of a graph is odd vertex. So what we generally do, we find out the degree of each vertices. And a vertex is even if its degree is even number. A vertex is odd if its degree is odd number. So let's see some example. Suppose let us take a graph, say 4 vertices. So these are the four vertices. This is say V1, this is V1, this is V2, this is V3, this is V4. So there are four vertices. So let's compute its degree. Now student, please tell me what is degree of V1? What is degree of V1? How many edges are inset with V1?
1.
Very good. What is degree of V2? What is degree of V2?
4.
Yes, 1, 2 and 2 loops. So 2 plus 2 that is equal to 4. Very good. What is degree of V3? Yes. What is degree of V3? Yes.
5.
No. This is a loop. So 2 plus this is 1 edge, 3 and this is 1 edge. Total 4. Degree of V3 is 4. Okay. So we have computed degree of V1, V2 and V3. Now what is degree of V4? Only 2 edges. Okay. This is also an edge. This is also an edge. So total 2. Okay. Now out of this, which one is odd number? This number is odd. Okay. This is even. This is even. And this is also even. Okay. So that means, therefore, vertex V1 is an odd vertex because its degree is odd number. Vertex V2, V3, so vertices V2, V3 and V4 are even vertices. What is the reason is because its degree is even number. Okay. So in this graph, what we found here, V1 vertex V1 is odd vertex because its degree is odd number. Degree is 1, so 1 is odd number. And vertex V2, V3 and V4 is even vertices because its degree is even number. So this is the concept of even and odd vertices. So there is one result which I am not going to prove, just explain what is that result is. So the result says, result in any graph G, in any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices. Okay, in any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices. So just understood the concept here. What is written in any graph G means graph may be simple or multi-graph or compound graph. So in any graph, you can take any graph. There is even number of odd vertices. Is it clear? There is even number of odd vertices. So, but just a minute. I have doubt here. So here degree of V1 is 1 and degree of V2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Degree of V3 is 1, 2, 3, 4 and degree of V4 is 1 and 2. So just a minute. I think there is some in any graph G there is even number of odd vertices. So here odd vertex is 1. So only one vertex is odd here. We required one more. Just a minute. Let's check the degree whether we have counted it properly or not. So degree of V1 is 1. One edge is incident. Let number the, so naming the edges here. V1, V2 is edge E1. This is E2. This is E3. This is edge E4. This is E5. And this is E6. Okay. Yeah, there is some mistake. बिकॉज 12 आना चाहिए. ओके, किसी वर्टेक्स का डिग्री हमने रॉन्ग कंप्यूट किया है. सो लेट्स चेक इट अगेन. सो डिग्री ऑफ V1 is 1 clearly. Degree of V2 is 1, 2 and 2h, that is 4. Degree of V3 is 1, 2, 3, 4. V3 is also 4. And V4 is 1, 2 plus 1, sorry, this is 1 plus 1, 2. So 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 4, there is one more required here. This is a loop. So loop is counted twice. So ये भी 1, 2, 3, sorry, 5. Degree of V3 is 5. Okay, check this. How many edges are incident with V3? Edge E6, okay, edge E3, edge E5, and the loop E4, that is 2. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2, that is 5. Understood? So that is a mistake we have done while calculating the degree of V3. So degree of V3 is equal to 5 here. Okay, now see, when you find out the degree of all the vertices of graph, for verification you just take the sum of all the degrees. And if the sum is equal to 2 into number of edges of the graph, then your answer is correct. Okay, if the sum is not equal to 2 into number of edges, then your answer is wrong. Okay, so let's look at this result. In any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices. You can see here. So how many odd vertices are there? V1 is odd, V3 is odd. So V3 is also odd. So how many odd vertices are there? There are 2 odd vertices. So that is even number. 2 is an even number. Okay. Let's see one more example. So just remember this result. In any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices. So I'm going to draw one more graph, which is okay. So let us say this is V1, this is V2, this is V3, this is V4, V5, V6, V7. Okay. Now let us compute the degrees. So degree of V1 is 1, 2. Two edges are incident. So 2. Degree of V2. V2 is 1, 2, 2. Degree of V3. Degree of V3 is 1h, 2h, 3h, and 4h. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 edges are incident on V3. So 4. Degree of V4. Degree of V4 is 1, 2. Degree of V5. Degree of V5 is 1, 2. Two edges are incident on V5. Degree of V6. V6 is 1, 2 and 3. And finally degree of V7. 1 edge and then plus 2 loop. So that is 3. Okay. Now let's verify whether your answer is correct or not. So first let us count the edges. This is E1. Suppose this is E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, E8, E9. तो सम कितना होना चाहिए? 2 into 9, that is 18 होना चाहिए. चेक कर लेते हैं. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12, 12, 3, 5. Yeah, correct. So we have determined the degree of vertices correctly. So then let's write which one is odd and which one is even number. Okay, so this is even number. So V1 is even degree. This is also even. This is also even number. This is also even number. This is also even number. This is odd. This is odd. Okay. So vertices. Therefore, vertices V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and V6 are even vertices. Okay. And V6 and V7 are odd vertices. V6, V7 are odd vertices. Okay, so this is even and odd vertices. Then let's count number of odd vertices here. So how many odd vertices are there in this graph? Yes, there are two only. Is it clear? Two odd vertices. So two odd vertices is there, which is even in number. 2 is an even number. So in any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices. Okay, proof is also very simple, but I am not going to prove this result. It is just for your knowledge. In any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices. Now, please let me know, or please tell me, is there or is there a graph with odd number of even vertices? Okay, is there is a graph with odd number of even vertices? This is the question. Okay, is there is a graph with odd number of even vertices? ये result क्या था? In any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices, जो हमने अभी verify किया, and this is a universally true result. So let's think over it. Is there is a graph with odd number of even vertices? Okay, is there is a graph with odd number of even vertices? चेक करते, let us see example. Suppose मैंने ग्राफ ड्रॉ किया, ये this is the graph which is drawn like this. This is v1, v2, v3, v4. This is e1, e2, e3, e4. Find out degree. So degree of v1 is 2, degree of v2 is 2, degree of v3 is also 2, degree of v4 is also 2. So all the vertices are, therefore vertices v1, v2, v3 and v4 are even vertices because their degrees are even number. Okay, तो यहाँ पे जितने भी vertices है ग्राफ के वो सारे even. कितने vertices है? Total 4, and 4 is an even number. 4 is an even number. So there are 4 even vertices. What is this question is there is a graph with odd number of even vertices? No. Okay, so there does not exist a graph having odd number of even vertices. You can check for any graph. Is it clear? यहाँ पे कितने even vertices है? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Is it clear? They are even in number. So odd नहीं आता है. So in any graph, there does not exist any odd number of, there is no odd number of even vertices. Okay, so this is a universally true result. In any graph G, there is even number of odd vertices, but in there is no graph having odd number of even vertices. So understood this concept, student? Is the concept clear? Just tell me yes or no immediately. Yes. Okay. Okay, good. So this is about the even and odd vertices. Now let's move to the next type of graph. K regular graph. Definition of K regular graph. Definition of K regular graph. If for some positive integer k, if for some positive integer k, okay, d of v, that is degree of vertex v, is k. For every vertex V of the graph G. That is, इसका मतलब क्या है? That is degree of each vertices of a graph G is K. Okay, if for some integer K, you know what is the meaning of integer because you have done set theory. So if for some positive integer K, if degree of vertices V is equal to K for any vertices, okay, that means degree of each vertices is same, which is say equal to K. Then such graph is called as the K regular graph. Is it clear? Then in this case, graph G is called as K regular graph. K regular graph. So what is the definition of K regular graph? If degree of each vertex of a graph, each vertices of a graph is K, मतलब सभी vertices का डिग्री जो है सेम होगा, and suppose that degree is K, then graph is said to be K regular graph. For example, now let us take example of such graph. So first let us take this graph. V1, V2, V3. This is AG1, E2, E3. So degree of V1 is what? What is degree of V1? Please tell me fast. What is degree of
2,
V1? Yes. What is degree of V2?
2,
Yes. What is degree of V3?
2,
Yes. So degree of V1 is 2, degree of V2 is 2, degree of V3 is 2. So यहाँ पे हम क्या देख रहे हैं कि degree of each vertices is 2. Since degree of each vertices of a given graph G is 2. Therefore, G is called 2 regular graph. यहाँ पे K की वैल्यू क्या है? 2. इसको क्या बोलेंगे? 2 regular graph. Is it clear? So what is a 3 regular graph? Can you define 3 regular graph? Okay, कोई बताएगा मुझे 3 regular graph को कैसे define करेंगे? Yes, student, please tell me fast. 3 regular graph means degree of each vertices is 3. 4 regular graph means degree of each vertices is 4. Understood? Suppose आपको क्वेश्चन आता है कि draw 3 regular graph. Draw 3 regular graph. So you can draw, this is a second example. Okay, suppose this is V1, this is V2, this is V3, this is V4, this is V5, okay, this is a V6. So how many edges are there? E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, E8, E9. Okay, so let us check whether it is 3 regular graph or not. So degree of V1 is here 3, 1, 2, 3. Degree of V2 is 1, 2, 3. When you observe this graph carefully, you will get degree. So degree of V3 is 1 and 2 for loop, that is 3. Degree of V4, what is degree of V4 is here 3. Degree of V5, is here 3. 1 and 2 loop. Degree of V6 is 3. because E1 is one edge and E9 is loop. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Loop is counted twice. V6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So what we observe, degree of each vertices, since degree of each vertices of a given graph G is 3. So therefore G is 3 regular graph. Okay. Suppose question are ki you draw the 4 regular graph. So you have to draw the graph in such a way that degree of each vertex is 4. Okay. So what is a regular graph? If degree of each vertices of a graph G is same, that is called a regular graph. And what is k regular graph? If degree of each vertices of a graph is 7, that is equal to positive integer k. So you can define, one can define a 3 regular graph. If degree of each vertices of a graph is 3, then it is 3 regular graph. And what is 4 regular graph? If degree of each vertex of a graph is 4, it is 4 regular graph. So this is a very simple, definition. Okay. So that is what the regular graph is, and you can construct the example. Now, what is the properties of regular graph? Because we require properties in solving the problems. So, properties of regular graph. Properties of a regular graph. So, first property is property number 1. Each vertex is of same degree m. Each vertex is of same degree. Okay, same. हमें पता है by definition degree of each vertex of a regular graph is what? Same. Okay, each vertex of a regular graph is same. Then what is the number of edges? बोलो, अगर आपके पास m regular graph है, that means degree of each vertex of a graph is m. Then what is the number of edges? Now we know that sum of degree of all the vertices is equal to 2 into number of edges. Is it clear? So this is what properties of a regular graph with n vertices. With n vertices. Properties of m regular graph. Okay. Or let me write it again. Just so properties of m regular graph with n vertices. So first property is what? Because we know that graph is m regular, so by definition of regular graph, degree of each vertices is m. So degree of each vertices is m. Is it clear? Because here regular graph, m regular graph. Now we have to find the number of edges. So how many edges are there in the m regular graph? So we use the handshaking lemma. What is that lemma? Is sum of the degree of vertices. Okay, sum of the degree of each vertices of a graph is 2 into number of edges. Okay, तो यहाँ पे vertices कितने हैं? n vertices. और उनकी डिग्री क्या है? m है. हर एक vertices की डिग्री m है. मतलब m को हम n बार ऐड करेंगे because there are n number of vertices और हर एक vertices का डिग्री m है. So जब m को आप n बार ऐड करोगे तो क्या आएगा? m into n. Okay, so sum of the degree of vertices is mn यहाँ पे. but this mn is 2 into number of edges. So what is E? M into n by 2. तो edges कितना हो गया regular graph में? M into n by 2 number of edges are there. So this is what second property. So second property is number of edges is equal to m into n by, very simple, because there are total n number of vertices in a graph and degree of each vertices is m. Why degree of each vertices is m? Because graph is given to be m regular graph. So by definition of m regular graph, degree of each vertices of graph is n. So n vertices है तो m को n बार add करो. So m plus m plus m plus plus n times we get n into m or m into n. So sum of the degree of all the vertices is m into n. So by definition of handshaking lemma, or you can say first theorem of graph theory, we get it is this sum is equal to 2 into number of edges. So mn is equal to 2e, so it will give you e is equal to mn by 2. E is the edges. So number of edges is m into n by 2. So this is a property of m regular graph with n vertices. यहाँ पे आप check कर सकते हो. You can easily check. So ये क्या है? What is this? This is a 3 regular graph. This is what? 3 regular graph. Okay? तो इसके edges कितने होंगे? How many vertices are there? So m यहाँ पे 3 है, 3 regular graph. How many vertices are there? There are 6. So n is equal to 6. So what is number of edges? 3 into 6 by 2. So total 9 edges इसमें होने चाहिए. आप count कर लो, यहाँ पे 9 edges मिलेगा. Is it clear? You can immediately count 9 edges. So that means if the question comes, draw the 3 regular graph. Okay? Draw 3 regular graph of say 5 vertices. Draw 3 regular graph of 5 vertices. ऐसा आपसे पूछा है क्वेश्चन. I write this question. Draw 3 regular graph of 5 vertices. Okay? तो सबसे पहले आप इसमें पता करो कि कितने एजेस होंगे, because it is regular graph. In the previous that is property, if graph is m regular and vertices are n, then how many edges are there? M into n by 2. तो यहाँ पे you have to draw the 3 regular graph of 5 vertices. So what is the value of m? M is 3 and what is the value of n? Number of vertices is 5. So age की value क्या होगी? Number of edges is m into n by 2 by properties of regular graph. So it is 3 into 5 by 2. What is this? This is 15 by 2. 15 by 2 are our answer. Understood? This is not possible. Is it clear? This is not possible. Why? Because अगर 5 vertices है और हर एक vertex का डिग्री 3 है, तो सम ऑफ द डिग्री ऑफ वर्टिसेस क्या हो जाएगा? 3 प्लस 3 प्लस 3 प्लस 3 प्लस 3 बराबर. ये ग्राफ में कितने वर्टिसेस है? 5 वर्टिसेस है. और क्या दिया है आपको? डिग्री हर एक वर्टिसेस का डिग्री जो है वो 3 है. सो बाय यूजिंग दी हैंडशेकिंग लेमा, sum of the degree of vertices, sum of the degrees of each vertices of a graph is 2 into number of edges. तो यहाँ पे हम जब इसको सम करेंगे 5 टाइम्स तो ये 15 आएगा and 15 is not 2 into something. Is it clear? So this is not possible because this will contradict the handshaking lemma or first theorem of graph theory. So 3 regular graph of 5 vertices is not possible. This is not possible. Okay? So 3 regular graph of 5 vertices is not possible. The reason is very simple, क्योंकि 3 रेगुलर है, डिग्री हर एक वर्टेक्स का डिग्री यहाँ पे 3 होगा और there are 5 vertices, so 3 will be added 5 times, so it becomes 15 and 15 is not 2 into something. It is not multiple of 2, so not possible. So graph of 3 regular graph of 5 vertices is not possible. Okay, so We cannot draw the graph of three regular graph of 5 vertices because it is not possible. So understood? Because आपको वो भी चेक करना है कि हैंड शेकिंग प्रॉपर्टी जो है वो सेटिस्फाई करना चाहिए. Okay. Okay. So now let us define one more type of graph. Complete graph. Complete graph. Complete graph of n vertices. So it defines as a simple graph G. So यहाँ पे ग्राफ मेंशन है. कैसा है ग्राफ? सिंपल, मतलब उसमें ना तो लूप्स है ना तो मल्टीपल एजेस है. ये आपको ध्यान में रखना है. A simple graph G. A simple graph G is called a complete graph. Is called a complete graph. A simple graph G is called a complete graph if there exists an edge. If there exists an edge, there exists an edge. If there exists an edge between each pair of vertices. If there exists an edge between each pair of vertices. Each pair of vertices. So what is this complete graph? A simple graph G. So graph is simple. A complete graph is what? It is a simple graph in which there exists an edge between each pair of vertices. Okay, there exists an edge between each pair of vertices. So कोई भी दो vertices आप लोगे उस ग्राफ पे तो वो दोनों के बीच में edge होगा. Okay, then only we say that graph is complete. So notation for the complete graph is what? Notation: complete graph of n vertices. Complete graph of n vertices is denoted by kn. Okay, complete graph of n vertices. अगर ग्राफ complete है और उसके अंदर n number of vertices है तो that graph is denoted by kn. For example, let's see the example of the complete graph. First example, say v1, v2, v3, v4. ओके, सो वर्टेक्स का पेयर क्या क्या हो सकता है यहाँ पे? v1 v2 हो गया है वर्टेक्स पेयर. v1 v3 is vertex pair. v1 v4 is a pair of vertices. Then v2 v1 v2 v3 v2 v4. Then v3 v1 v3 v2 v3 v4 v4 v1 v4 v2 v4 v2, okay, and v4 v3. These are the vertex pair. तो आपको चेक क्या करना है कि हर एक वर्टेक्स पेयर के बीच में एज है कि नहीं. सो पहला v1 v2, सो बिटवीन v1 एंड v2 यस देयर इज एन एज. ओके, नो डाउट. तो यहाँ पे एज मिल गया. v1 एंड v3 या देयर इज नो एज. अंडरस्टूड. तो यहाँ पे एज नहीं है तो ये ग्राफ कंप्लीट नहीं होगा. इसको कंप्लीट करने के लिए ये दोनों के बीच में एज आना जरूरी है. सिमिलरली v2 and v4 we clearly observe these two vertices. Between these two vertices there is no edge. So if you want to graph must be complete, then we have to draw this edge. Then only this is complete. Okay, you can check every pair of vertices there is an edge. Understood? v1 and v2 there is an edge. V1 V4 के बीच में एज है, V1 और V3 के बीच में एज है। ओके, कोई भी आप दो वर्टाइसेस लो, उनके बीच में आपको एज मिलेगा यहाँ। So this is complete graph of 4 vertices, and notation is what? Complete graph of n vertices is denoted by kn. So this is complete graph of 4 vertices. So this is K4. Okay, K4 means complete graph of 4 vertices. Complete graph of 4 vertices. Okay. Suppose if someone asks you draw complete graph of 5 vertices, कैसे ड्रॉ करना है आपको? देखो, आपको डेफिनेशन याद रखना है. इट इज अ सिंपल ग्राफ, देयर इज नो लूप फॉर्म. ओके, अदरवाइज समवन हैव डाउट, सर V1 के बीच में एज क्यों नहीं होगा? अगर एज होगा तो वो लूप बनेगा, और लूप बनेगा तो वो सिंपल ग्राफ नहीं है. ओके, एंड कंप्लीट ग्राफ इज व्हाट? अ सिंपल ग्राफ. So what is complete graph? A simple graph G is called complete graph if there exists an edge between each pair of vertices. Okay, so let us draw K5. K5 का मतलब क्या हुआ? Complete graph of 5 vertices. Complete graph of 5 vertices. Okay, तो अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया कि यू हैव टू ड्रॉ द कंप्लीट ग्राफ ऑफ 5 वर्टाइसेस, तो पहले 5 वर्टाइसेस आप ड्रॉ कर लो. ठीक है, 1, कहीं पे भी आप ड्रॉ करो. ठीक है, एनीवेयर ऑन योर नोटबुक पेज. सो 5 वर्टाइसेस हमने लिखा, इसको नाम दे दो V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. अब इसको कंप्लीट करने के लिए हर एक पेयर ऑफ वर्टाइसेस के बीच में एज जाना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो बनाते हैं. चलो V1 V5 ले लिया, V1 से V4 भी हो गया, V1 से V3 हो गया, V1 से V2. ठीक है, V1 से हर एक वर्टाइसेस को एज जा रही है. देन V2 टू V1 ऑलरेडी ड्रॉन, V2 टू V3, V2 टू V4, V2 to V5. Understood? So V2 to V1 is an edge, V2 to V3 is an edge, V2 to V4 is an edge, V2 to V5 is an edge. Now come to V3. So V3 to V1 is an edge, V3 to V2 is an edge, V3 to V4 नहीं है, draw कर दो edge. V3 to V4 and V3 to V5, you draw this. Then V4 to V1 is an edge, V4 to V2 भी edge है, V4 से V3 पर भी edge है, V4 से V5 पर नहीं है, तो इसको draw करो. और V5 से हर एक एज मिल रहा है आपको. V5 to V1 there is an edge, V5 to V4 there is an edge, V5 to V3 there is an edge, V5 to V4 there is an edge. Understood? So this graph is the complete graph of 5 vertices. This way you draw the complete graph of 5 vertices. Okay, now let's see third example. So third example is K6. If you want to draw K6, that is complete graph of 6 vertices. Okay, so draw 6 vertices. 6 vertices को draw करो. 1, 2, anywhere. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Okay, so V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. So V1 से V2 पे एज खींचो, V1 से V3, V1 to V6, V4, V5, like this. अभी V2 से V1, V2 to V3, V2 to V4, V2 to V5, V2 to V6, like this. Okay, then V3 to V1, V3 to V2 is there, V3 to V4, draw this edge, V3 to V5, V3 to V6. Then V4 to V1, V4 to V2, V4 to V3 is an edge, V4 to V5, V4 to V6. Then V5 to V1, V2, V3, V4, there is an edge, V5 to V6, and V6 से automatically sub होगा. So this is K6. So this way we draw K6 graph. Okay. Now this is what complete graph of 6 vertices. Now Again, I recall this complete graph. What is complete graph is a simple graph G is called complete graph if there exists an edge between each pair of vertices. Okay. Now let us count the degree of. This is K4 complete graph of 4 vertices. So what is degree of V1 here? Yes. What is degree of V1? 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 edges are incident on V1. So 3 edges are incident with V1. So degree of V1 is 3. Degree of V2. What is degree of V2 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Degree of V3 is degree of V3 is 3. And degree of V4 is 3. So what we observe, this is complete graph of 4 vertices in which degree of each vertices is same, which is equal to 3. So this means this is a 3 regular graph also by definition. This is 3 regular graph also. So K4 is 3 regular graph because degree of each vertices is 3. Now come to K5. Let's count the degree of V1. How many edges are incident? 1, 2, 3, 4. So total 4. V1 to V2 is an edge, V1 to V3 is an edge, V1 to V4 is an edge, V1 to V5. So degree of V1 is 4. Now degree of V2. What is degree of V2? It is again 4. V2 to V1, V2 to V3, V2 to V4, V2 to V5. तो यहाँ इस तरह से आप फाइंड आउट करेंगे तो आपको मिलेगा डिग्री ऑफ V3 is also equal to 4, degree of V4 is also equal to 4, degree of V5 is also equal to 4. So this is what 5 regular graph because degree of each vertex is 5. Okay, so in general, what we say that if a graph G is complete, having n vertices, if a graph, simple graph G is a complete graph with n vertices, then what we conclude? Degree of each vertices is n minus 1. अभी यहाँ पे ये जो ग्राफ था K4, इसमें 4 वर्टाइसेस है, K4 है ये, तो डिग्री ऑफ ईच वर्टेक्स यहाँ पे क्या होगा 4 minus 1 दैट इज 3. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हमें क्लियरली दिख रहा है. सिमिलरली K5 में आते हैं तो K5 में डिग्री ऑफ ईच वर्टेक्स क्या है 4 विच इज 5 minus 1. Similarly, if you want to find the degree of each vertices of K6, you will get it is equal to 5 which is 6 minus 1. So in general, if G is a complete graph of n vertices, then degree of each vertices is n minus 1. That means complete graph of n vertices is n minus 1 regular graph. Okay, so complete graph of n vertices is n minus 1 regular graph. So it means every complete graph is a regular graph. Okay, हर एक अगर ग्राफ कंप्लीट है तो उसका डिग्री ऑफ हर एक वर्टाइसिस का डिग्री जो है वो सेम होगा. सेम होने का मतलब वो रेगुलर ग्राफ बन जाता है. सो इट मींस एवरी कंप्लीट ग्राफ इज अ रेगुलर ग्राफ. नाउ प्लीज टेल मी, इज एवरी रेगुलर ग्राफ इज अ कंप्लीट? क्या हर एक रेगुलर ग्राफ कंप्लीट हो सकता है? यस, you can check the example of regular graph. Okay, you can very easily check the example of regular graph. अभी यहाँ पे हमने regular graph यहाँ पे define किया. This is what two regular graph because degree of each vertices is 2 here. Okay, ये क्या है? Two regular graph है. But यहाँ पे हम एक चीज observe कर रहे हैं कि there is no edge between V1 and V3. There is no edge between V2 and V4. So by definition, this is not a complete graph because by definition, complete graph is a simple graph in which there is an edge between each pair of vertices, जो कि यहाँ पे नहीं हो रहा है. ग्राफ तो सिंपल है but there is no edge between V1 and V3, V2 and V4. So this is two regular graph but it is not complete. So that means every regular graph need not be complete graph. Okay, so student, this is what the concept of regular graph and complete graph. Okay, so next lecture I will revise this thing again and then give the properties of complete graph and also uh, uh, as a remark we write every complete graph on n vertices is n minus 1 regular graph, but every regular graph need not be complete. Okay, so this is the concept of regular graph and complete graph. Next time, that is in the next lecture, we will learn concept of bipartite graph, concept of complete bipartite graph. Okay, and then we have the concept of walk, path, cycle, and circuit of a graph. So that is in the next lecture. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Yes, students, you have any doubt, please let me know. सबको समझ में आ गया कंप्लीट ग्राफ क्या होता है, रेगुलर ग्राफ क्या होता है? तो आज हमने क्या पढ़ा देख लेते हैं थोड़ा. हमने रिवाइज किया व्हाट इज सिंपल ग्राफ, व्हाट इज मल्टी ग्राफ एंड व्हाट इज अ कंपाउंड ग्राफ. And then we have seen the result. In any graph G there is even number of odd vertices. This is true result, this is universally true result, but there does not exist a graph where there is a odd number of even vertices. Okay, this is the counter example. Is there is a graph with odd number of even vertices? Answer is no. This is the counter example. Is it clear? So by tomorrow morning I will post these notes also, and for video, okay, by tonight you will get video also, link of the video. Any doubt, students? So next time we'll see more on this. Okay, so no doubt. So next time we'll learn concept of bipartite graph, complete bipartite graph, concept of walk, path, trails, cycle, circuit, etc., etc., etc. Okay, thank you.